Hello. Let me make sure that all my settings are good to go. They are. I had a little technical difficulties. It kicked me out fully. So I'm sorry if you guys felt that. Let's do that. Let's put that there. Renee. Yay. JW. Dedria. Amy. Chelsea. Queen Kathy B. And Busola. Hello, hello. Okay, let's get started at 6:30. I should put something on my head, but here we are. I'm not gonna. Just Lou. Hi. Hi. Okay, 10 seconds, everyone. Let's get my notas out. Hey, everyone. My name is Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated. Welcome to my recap of Love is Blind Season 6, episodes 10 and 11. My name is Wah. If you're new to my channel, I do recaps of relationship reality TV shows such as 90 Day Fiance, Love After Lockup, Love is Blind, Married at First Sight, Seeking Sister Wives. So if you are at all interested in that content, please go on ahead and subscribe to my channel. If at all during this you get the hee ha-has and you want to get your girl a little tip, you can do so with the ways that are scrolling across the bottom of your screen. If you're an international girly and you can't do those options, you can also go a couple of steps over from that thumbs up and choose the thanks button, and that's a way you can support me. But thank you to those of you who are in the room right now. Love it when you guys are here. Thank you for accepting me even throughout my hiatus, which was way too long, but lessons learned. Lessons learned. Okay, let's jump right into this episode. And because some of you don't watch the show, you require pictures. So I like to use the pictures and jump around back and forth. Okay, so we are starting with episode 10, and the title of episode 10 is what? Come on. What could have been? Okay, so these two episodes, juicy, okay? Piping hot. Dramatics. Dramatics. Okay, so we start off where Jeremy meets with his mother at the dog park, or they take his dog to the dog park, and he tries to, in the best way, explain to his mother what's going on. So we already know as an audience that he's not going to say the full breadth of the truth. He's only going to give the highlights and the lowlights. Let's see what the mother's reaction is. And the mother's reaction is the exact reaction we needed her to have. She, at least on camera, in no way supported his behavior. In fact, said that if it was a good thing it wasn't her, you're lucky it wasn't me, she said, because I would have stayed up and I would have waited for you, and I would have been sitting on that couch when you walked in, and we would have had the conversation right then and there. And he's like, yeah, well, it's not like I woke up thinking that I would mess up today. But at some point throughout this conversation with Sarah and he knew he was wrong, but he let the alcohol or his own hubris convince him that he ain't owe Laura anything and he was a grown ass man and he could do what he wanted to do. Because that's the only real thing that I think I can glean from this. It's how can you make these choices and do these things knowing that you have somebody that you chose, a fiance, at home waiting for you. So then we have a scene with Amy and Johnny, and they're working on some IKEA furniture together, and it's supposed to show how well they get along, but like that's boring. So move on. Then we've got Jimmy and Chelsea, and they go to meet Jimmy's family. Now, we don't know much about Jimmy's family. We just know that he's the first to get his 4-year degree. I thought that he had made some mention that the fact that they weren't too hype about him doing that, and then afterwards, now they're proud of him. That's what I recall from the pods, but that's neither here nor there. So let me tell you about his mother's hair. I was here for it. I liked it. I like the sister's hair too. I was here for the ladies and his family and their hair. Now that father, I don't know if that man had any teeth because there was a lot of like happening. And they just look like a big cuddly couple. I mean, they look like she was doing this and he was leaning into her. So it just looks like they just are really big on cuddling and like showing love. At least that's what they showed for the cameras. Even though the dad tried to do that old like trope where he didn't know exactly how long they were married, and that, things were pretty simple when we did it. I just made a decision to love her. And the one thing I can say I don't like about her is she's a pack rat. The next thing I don't like about her is she's a pack rat. And lastly, she's a pack rat. So now we know his mother is a borderline hoarder. I mean, listen, my dad's a pack rat too. Would I get on national TV and call him that? No. But will I get on my little ass YouTube chase station and say that? Yes. Channel. So they have been married for 43 years. And then I had to do the math to see how long my parents have been married. My parents have been married for 47 years. That is a very long time. That is they've been married longer than they were single as individuals. That is a crazy scenario for them. And like, I have seen them grow and separate and do all kinds of things during those 47 years. And cheers to them. They'll have either 47, no, they'll have 48 years of marriage in September. My parents. Girl, that's a long time. That's a long, long time. Okay. So, anywho, when the mother finds out that she's like, "You're young," and Chelsea's like, "I'm 30," and the mom's like, "Oh, you're 30? What you over here trying to steal my little baby boy, my little baby 27-year-old?" Sister is like, "What makes you guys think this is gonna work?" I'm telling you right now, I've been married for 3 years, and we didn't do your speed situation of marriage, and it's hard. Let me tell you, it's hard. And so they have like a back and forth where Jimmy says that they have gotten into arguments, and Chelsea's like, "No, no, no, they haven't been arguments. They've just really been conversations." And I'm like, "No, girl, they've been arguments. We saw 1 or 2 of them. They're not conversations. The conversation is like, babe, you don't show me that you love me, babe. You didn't tell me. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassed that you just went and talked about AD's body. Babe, you weren't showing it to me. Like, you weren't showing it to me, babe. Babe." Like, no. Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. So the mom says that she sees that they have a connection, and she also noticed that her and Chelsea had the same eyes. So I guess that means something in that area. And we have that. Then we cut to AD and her mother, Jacqueline. Now, let me tell you right now, no 2 people could look anything further apart. AD looked just like her daddy. I have not seen a picture of her, but based on the fact that she looks nothing like her mother and the rest of her siblings do, it's like that trend that's happening on TikTok right now where it's like women who are just posting pictures of their children who look exactly like their fathers, and it's just like, "Well, I just carried him for 9 months, so I guess." Let me tell you, it's the same thing with my niece. My niece looks just like my brother. It's like, "Oh, you just gonna come out looking absolutely nothing like me? Rude." So AD and Jacqueline, I think they have like a really cute relationship. Again, this is AD. And she's trying to like basically tell her mother like all the things that that are good in their relationship. However, the fact is that he hasn't made time in his life for her, and she gives an example of how she made a list of 25 things and reasons why she likes him, put it in a card, and set up the little like presentation on the kitchen counter with all his favorite snacks and stuff. And she just waited for him to come home, and he never did. And so those things are still sitting on the kitchen cabinet right now. And her mother is just like, "Oh, you made a list of 25 things? Huh." And I'm like, "That's the thing you hang on?" I'm like, the fact that he didn't come home is an interesting, situation. Um, mother's like, "What does he do? Work for the Secret Service?" And then enter Clay's, and Clay comes in, and she, AD, she makes sure to say all the things, the new things about him that are currently happening. She's like, "Oh my god. Oh, hi babe. Oh, you got a haircut." Uh-huh. And I said, "Oh, now I listen, I'm not here to get in between a black man and his barber, okay? I'm gonna tell you right now, most of the black men I know, once they get that cut, they feel like they can do anything. Okay. Anything in the world once they get that good old edge. Oh, with the crisp, sometimes with the white chalk line, like they feel on top of the world. And so I'm not gonna begrudge him for going to get his haircut before meeting the mother. But it is like, oh, okay, you did have time to do some stuff then, huh? Because the truth is that if I could get in a nail appointment before I meet somebody new, I would do so too. I'm going to get my nails just fixed. Like it's just that, those little things that show that you are, at least for me, I feel like it shows I'm polished to a certain extent. Like a good, just like a good unchipped situation just shows that your girl is just a little polished. You know what I mean? This like this little last extremity is taken care of. So other things are taken care of. That's just the way I think of it in my mind. Okay. I'm not judging you. I'm just saying that's what I think for me. So he and the mother, like when the mother gets there, she's like, and I think she's feeling awkward because they're so cutesy together, like, "Oh, babe," and like hugging and stuff, and she feels like she's a little bit uncomfortable. So Clay sits down and he feels like he has to kind of defend himself a little bit. So he goes into talking about his family. But first, the mother is like, "So, exactly what is it that you do?" And he says, "Oh, I'm in tech sales, but then I also have a side business with Airbnbs, renting out apartments, boats, and jet skis." Well, I mean, listen, if I were a tourist, I would be like, "Oh, great. I just one-stop shop. Not only can you help me, get a place, but if I wanted to go out on the lake or rent jet skis, you're there for that as well." So I guess he's a one-man show at this time in his life because that's what he's been busy doing all times of the night and whatnot. So he says, "Marriage is big to me. I really, always envision myself getting married. Um, and I just feel like I need a best friend. I need somebody that I could just talk to and I can be myself with. And AD really does provide that for me." And so the mother, he listens to him, and then the mother realizes that the things that are getting Clay caught up are issues that don't have anything to do with him. So the mother is like, "Listen, I hear you. But what I'm saying to you is, one, your parents being married for 25 years is a feat within itself. That's not saying that they had to last forever, but being married for 14 years is a big deal. Being married for 5 years is a big deal." And I really loved her take on this because I don't know if I've mentioned this before. I'm sure I have, that there is just this new kind of idea that when you get married, you don't necessarily need to be married forever. Like as long as you're married, as long as you have made this attempt to live your life with somebody for over a certain amount of time and you were relatively successful in the majority of it, like that's something to be proud of because it's hard to do that, to go forth, especially now, modern day when people have options, right? And so I really love that. And so she tried to give him perspective of that. And then she's also like, "I'm divorced. Her father's not here at this time, he's passed on. But the truth is that that's my baggage. That's not AD's baggage. The fact that I got divorced, the fact that your parents got divorced, that has nothing to do with you. You just learn from our mistakes and make a different choice, or do what it is you want. Don't allow that to stop you from moving forward with AD because you're worried about what you might do because of what your father did or what you saw around you." And so I said, "I like that. I like to I heard her say his worries are rooted in his parents' stuff." So then somebody makes some comparison to Barack and Obama, and I mean Barack and Michelle, and I'm just like, "Have you read Becoming?" Because let me tell you, Michelle was up against the fence at some point too. She said, "If this man don't come home and help me take care of these kids, I don't care if he's trying to save half of South Side Chicago. If this man don't come home." So it's, you can say that, but they have persevered because of their personality, whatever. I don't know about the Obamas. Let me just tell you right now. I just think it's weird when people like compare themselves to Beyonce and Jay-Z or compare themselves to Michelle and you don't know what's happening in their marriage. You don't actually know what's going on. So Let's not compare ourselves. Uh, so then we've got 13 days to the wedding, and Johnny and Amy meet Amy's dad, which both of Amy's parents fully remember Amy when she was a youngin and like have some kind of special place in their heart where they are drawing back to the fact that she was a young girl at some point and how they remember that. So they love her. Dad basically sets out what he expects Johnny to do, and Johnny's just nodding his head because he's like, "Yep, I can take care of her. I can love her. I can support her. I can do all these things." And he asks for the dad's hand in marriage, and the dad says yes. So that's great. Then we go back to Chelsea and Jimmy. Now, this is the scene that rocked everybody. I'm going to tell you right now on the social medias, the whole entire weekend, they have just been talking about the most iconic things being said. And one of those iconic things happened during their segment. Hi. Hello. How are you? Oh, thank you, Lisa. Hello, how are you, Lisa? I haven't seen you in so long. I know. Oh, wow, 64 people in this room. Have you guys given this video a thumbs up? Have you gone back and just hit that like button? I mean, you're here, you might as well, right? You might as well. And if you want to give a girl a tip, you can. You know, whatever. Okay, so this is the big scene. Let me get myself prepared. Okay. Let's get my notes set out so I don't have to have them in my hand. Okay. So, Chelsea and Jimmy, they are at their home sitting on the veranda, okay? And Jimmy is and her are just talking about how where they are at this point and how happy that he is. And all of a sudden, I don't know how exactly it started, but oh no, I do know. I was so cranky at you when I woke up this morning. Oh, well, you can't be cranky at me. I can be cranky. Let's get the pictures. I can be cranky. Well, why? Why was you cranky at me? Because you went out last night and you were gone. To be fair, I just went out for a friend's birthday and I had one drink and I was gone a total of an hour and a half. You're right. Yeah, I'm gonna give it to you. You did come back rather quickly. You came back fast, but I'm just saying, like, you went out without me. Well, I asked you if you wanted to go with me, and you said no. No, you did not ask me. You did not ask me. You did not ask me. Well, I saw that after the cameras left, you were all, rolled up and you felt like you didn't want to go. Yeah, after the cameras left, and all of a sudden you get dressed and you go. Again, Chelsea had no idea. I mean, you didn't seem like you wanted to go. And besides, I was just gone for a little bit. Who are you with? Who were you with? Tell me who was there. It was just 4 guys from bachelor party and, some frat fraternity friends and some okay, who was there? Who was there? Who was there? What do you mean? Well, it's really embarrassing because I got a text from somebody who said that you were there and the cast was there. I didn't even see who you're talking about. It was Mackenzie. Well, I don't know what Mackenzie looks like. I don't know what so I didn't see her. She might have saw me. She definitely saw you. And it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to have everybody say, "Well, Jimmy's out and you're not out." I don't like that, babe. Okay? I don't want to be with somebody whose life is like that. Whose life is like what? I just went out. I told you I was going out with my friends. You never said that in the pod. You never said that in fact, you told me that you was somebody, babe, who didn't like going out. You said that you didn't like going out, babe. I never said that. I said I don't party. I hardly consider what I did last night partying. I just went out to be with my friends. But yeah, who was there? Who was all there? Well, you never said that you wanted me to take a step back. Well, I did. I have said it. You never said that you wanted me to take a step back. I just feel like I'm getting a facade from you, and I don't like that. It's not the person that I want to be with. Who were you with last night? because you're not being respectful. Do you want me to take a step back? Yes, I want you to take a step back. Okay, I'm not willing to take a step back. Then he goes and brushes his teeth. Now, everyone is like, oh, Jimmy dropped the comment of the century. Jimmy said, do you want me to take a step back? And then proceeded to say, well, I don't want to take a step back. Boom, drop the bomb. Ha. And I'm like, I mean, it wasn't that like profound. What am I missing? What am I missing? What did I miss? Missing Wall, getting free time to check in with my faves here. Hilarious and always. Oh, thank you. Thank you. So I just don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Mm-mm. So then he goes and brushes his teeth and completely walks away from her. She then gets up and she goes, follows him in the room, and she's like, who are you with last night? What are you talking about? You told me that, you were with your friends, but I don't want you to hang out with your friends anymore. It's disrespectful to me. And he's like, what are you talking about? So then it gets revealed that he told her off camera that he had had sex or hooked up one time with one of his best friends, one of the ones who came and met her, right? And at least that's what I'm assuming. And that it was a one-time thing, but they're good friends now and it hasn't happened again. And he made the stupid ass mistake of telling her, I'm going to tell you right now, for those of you who think that you want all of this transparency when it comes to who your man has been with and stuff, you don't. You don't want transparency. You don't. Just know that it had happened in the past and it's none of your business. I don't want to know that information because it's going to make me act different. I'm with you. Well, that that moment gave little. The streets are saying that he dropped the bomb of the century. Now, listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not telling anybody I get with about any guy who I may have had sex with, and we're still friends. Oh no, 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 no. Because if I'm still planning on being friends with that person, why would I tell my significant other? That is a 27-year-old behavior thing to do. He will never make that mistake again. It was silly. You say that you want transparency. The truth is, what you don't know won't kill you, especially in this time. What are you gonna do? Like, I really do feel like just because you have information doesn't mean you can prevent your person from cheating on you. So you're just driving yourself crazy. And so then she's like, you fucked her. And he's like, pissed because he's like, I told you this and you're breaching. And she's like, well, that's why I don't want you to hang out with them. And it's disrespectful to me and everybody knows it. So it went from you were hanging out and you were hanging out with your girl. Then she's like, you also think of Jess. Mackenzie told me that you were there with Jess. And then he's like, no, I have never met Jess. I've only ever seen one picture of her, and that's the one that Jeremy showed me. And then she's like, well, you said she was like a Kardashian. And Jimmy's like, I didn't say that. I said that is what Jeremy or Johnny, whoever the hell said it, told me that that's what she looks like. And then he says the thing to me that is the dropping of the bomb more. He's like, are you saying this because you're drunk? Or is this how you really feel? Is this how you really feel? Or are you drunk? And she's like, I don't want to be with somebody who wants to go out all the time. And he's like, well, fine then. Are you saying you don't want to be with me? Because if that's the case, then we could break up right now. I don't care. If you don't want to be with me, who I am and how I am now, then we need to go our separate ways. And she gets real quiet. And I thought to myself, well, Miss Ma'am, if you're going to get quiet right now, then what was the purpose of this fight? Did you not think it would end with him being like he wants to walk away? Like, you're drumming up drama for no reason. So it was very, very weird for me. Yeah, free Jimmy, because Chelsea is too much. Also, Chelsea was drunk as hell. Now, let me tell you right now, I didn't notice she was drunk. That is the way that woman sounds to me. I don't know if she's been drinking the whole time or every time she's got upset with him, she's has been drinking. But like, girl, I couldn't tell until I watched the second time around and I was like, oh, I guess she does kind of sound a little drunk. But to me, she just naturally sounds whiny. So good advice, Was. Some things need to be kept to yourself. Exactly. Not Chelsea is sad drunk. Not all drunk people act this way. Not Chelsea is a sad drunk. Drunks are fun and bubbly, not Chelsea. Yeah, so she had a whole issue with that about him hanging out. Then she starts to fish and make up the fact that Jessica might have been there. It was just like this weird, like, oh, here's the logic, here goes there. And he's like, listen, I don't want to do this though. I'm telling you right now, I don't want to do it though. I don't want to do it. And she's just like, babe. Babe. So then we have our next scene where we have AD and Clay in the kitchen. And I can't remember what exactly happened at the beginning because her outfit, I mean, this girl is, she looks great. Okay. So she's washing dishes and she almost loses a ring. And he's like, oh, you almost lost the ring. And she's like, no, not my wedding ring. So she's cleaning up. We know they're about to get into a conversation about something or other. And so basically at the end of this conversation, AD ends up telling him that she, A, is not interested in being a longtime girlfriend, fiance, B, that he's doubts. She's done everything she can to kind of assuade, if that's the right word to use. She's done everything she can to try and have him be calm and settled and trust in the process. And so at this point, she just needs to tell him, listen, I signed on for a certain timeline. Okay. If and I am willing and ready for your answer to be yes or no at the altar. But if the answer is no, I'm not going to date you after this because I signed up for this project or this process to happen within this time frame and I want to see it through to fruition. Also, like, you can say whatever you want, but I'm not about to be your fiance for an extra long time if you say no at that altar. And he's like, oh, dang. And she's like, yeah. And I love that. It's like she stood in her power because sometimes it feels like AD is just making excuses for him, talking about, oh, he's so fine and all this stuff. He is, but I just needed her to say, bro, you're fine. And I'm willing to work with you and counsel you as much as I possibly can and help you to not lean on your own understanding. However, if we get to the end of this and you're still hemming and hawing and not knowing what you want to do, then peace be unto you, my brother. Okay. All the best. And I love that. Because he's like, as a man, I need to lead this relationship, but I don't know that I'm there yet. And I wanted to be like, no, you don't need to necessarily lead this relationship. We see your time management skills. Like, AD don't need you to do that. She just needs you to set aside some time to hang out with her and be consistent with it. And, tell her, like, schedule her in. Like, put her as a priority while he can still do his business. And so I think he's having a hard time doing that. And he leans back on the fact that he's just not ready to lead as a husband. And I'm like, I don't think it has anything to do with you being ready. I mean, unless it is, but what you're showing us on this show, we are seeing is that you are not making time for this experiment. Like, that's what we see. So, okay. Then we go over to Laura and Jeremy, and they, have that argument. I don't even know what part that is. When are they? The next day, Jimmy wakes up and they want to try. Something happens with Laura and Jim. I don't know. Let's just skip that. The next time, we see Chelsea and Jimmy. Jimmy's sitting on the couch on his phone scrolling. Chelsea comes in, takes off her shoes, and sits next to him, and she's like, "Babe, I like you so much. I love you so much. Like, all I want to do is be with you, and a zoom, 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 and a boom, boom. And I really hope that we can make it through this." And he's like, listen, if you're willing to try, I'm willing to try. I'm not willing to give it up. But if you are still hung up on the things you were hung up on last night, then I think we should go our separate ways. So she acquiesces. And she is just like, oh, okay, like, let's give it a try again. And she's like crying and, and she's like, I love you. And, blah, blah, blah. And he says, I love you too. So at this point, it just feels like he's the more responsible individual. And she's completely having like regret for the way she behaved. Now, next scene, we go to the lake. The lake, y'all. Dramatic. So We think it's just going to be the companies, the companies, the couples. We just think it's going to be the couples there. At least that's what I think. Okay. But we do have Laura and Jeremy. But so I'm like, why don't we have Brittany and Kenneth? I want Brittany and Kenneth. If Laura and Jeremy, who to me at this point are broken up, and maybe it's because the camera crew hasn't actually had them break up yet. Like maybe it was because we saw Brittany and Kenneth break up. But I really feel like they should have made Kenneth do more of this process. I need to see Kenneth. That cannot be the last time we see Kenneth and Brittany. I want it, like, if they're gonna bring on Sarah Ann and they're gonna bring Mackenzie of all people to this, they needed to force Kenneth and Brittany to show up so they can be some kind of like group reconciliation. Because the group saw them together in effing Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. Why can't we see them together here? I mean, I know they're not living together anymore, but like, I think they should have been there. So, anywho, so they all get together, everyone's high-fiving each other, and then the girls go down to the lakeside and they start having the scrunchie of truth where they talk about what's going on. Laura gets a scrunchie. Laura says from her perspective what happened, and Amy gives from her perspective what Johnny had told her. So Amy says what happened, and they are like working to like, you know, trying to suss out like, who is Jeremy the jerk? Is he not the jerk? And so Laura talks about Sarah Ann and she's just like, listen, do I think she has no respect for women? Check. Do I think that she purposely inserted herself? Double check. Do I think that she's an ugly big lit bitch? Yes. But I do not blame her for the way Jeremy behaved. Jeremy is the one who was supposed to protect my heart. Jeremy is the one who was supposed to love me. You were supposed to love me. I found myself down on the line. You were supposed to love me, Curtis. And I am telling you, I'm going, or actually, I am going. You're the ugly man I've ever known. Just, I need to make, that's the song I need to make. And there's no way I can't ever go. No, there's no way. Okay, anyways, sorry. Sorry, I do apologize. Anywho, so so everyone's like, yeah, that's great. She's like, for all I'm concerned, he can kick rocks with open toe shoes on. Okay, you guys, you know how many times I have said that? She says it once with the group of girls. And then she ends up saying it again to him, but she says you can kick rocks with no shoes on. And everyone is like, "Oh, Laura better come with the digs." I'm like, that is an old saying. I don't understand why we're giving her props for like making some shit up. I don't get it. So weird. So, also, let me just tell you that Chelsea says to her, "He ain't it, sis." And I was like, "Oh, he ain't it, sis." Hmm. Anywho, okay. So Jeremy strolls up and he's like, "Who's that? Is that Laura?" Oh shit. He's like, "Yeah, I don't want to speak with her because she's just so nasty. Like the last time we tried to talk, I tried to make amends with her, but she was just being nasty and saying all these things. I tried to send her flowers. And then she told, like, she wouldn't give me her address. And then also she tells me in a text that, oh, it's interesting how your name went from fiance to Jeremy. Like, dude, what is that?" Like he's talking to Johnny about it. And they're just kind of like sitting with him, and Jimmy tries to convince him to like, you know, stay with it because this is the process. And he's like, "Oh yeah, no, I know I'm hard-headed." And he's, you know, Jeremy's like, "We're both hard-headed." And I'm just like, no, it's beyond hard-headedness. It's beyond that. You did something wild, mad, disrespectful, and then tried to explain it away and tried to like defend yourself. No, wild, mad, disrespectful. So then Trevor comes in, and then people are like, "Oh my god," Chelsea's like, "Is that Trevor?" Blah, 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 blah. And she's like, "He's beefy. That's the kind of guy I normally go for." And then we're like, "Okay, pot kettle." Because the way Chelsea is talking about and maneuvering through the fact that Trevor's there, to me, is the same way that she would have been pissed if Jimmy had done that with Jess. So it feels like a double standard because at some point she's like, he knows that that's my type. So like, whoa, 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 whoa. He better get over it. I'm just like, no, girl. You need to be the same. You keep that same energy when it comes to you. So Jess walks up and Jimmy and Jess give each other a hug. And Jess is like, oh, not a church hug. Woo. And I think side hugs are weird too. Like high five me or give me a true hug. Not a side hug. Side hugs are weird. But I get it, right? Some people might not want that chest to chest contact. I get it. It's just not for me. So it looks like Jeremy and Laura actually speak. And that's when they start to yell because she's like, you need to stop acting as though what I did to you was not warranted. Okay? Like, no. Stop trying to play the victim. Bring out the texts because I'm not dealing with this. And then Jimmy says to someone else, I forget who, that meeting the family was easy, but everything else with Chelsea has been a roller coaster. And so like it's just like a lot. Like it's a lot. It's a lot. Then Jimmy and Jess, let me put these pictures up, girl. Let me get together so you can. Jimmy and Jess end up having a little conversation of their own where she's like, listen, take the advice from an ex, right? Because this is the person he said that they were on a roller coaster with. No. So Jimmy tells Jessica that he and Chelsea have been on a roller coaster. Jessica says, here's some advice from an ex. Jimmy says, oh, you're an ex. And Jessica just kind of smiles and is just like, well, whatever. But also, let me just tell you this. You were dead silent when I told you how I felt about you. I gave you my heart in that letter. And she tells him that she just like went and cried afterwards. And he's just like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I never meant for that to happen. And so he's just like, yeah, I just love Chelsea. I love Chelsea. And she's just like, okay. But I think for her, Jimmy was hers first. So that ends that episode. Let's quickly jump to episode 11, where we have the cast kind of talking, and some of them said that Matthew looks like Clark Kent, and AD's like, oh no, like she's already done with him for his shenanigans. So then we've got Sarah Ann who shows up along with Mackenzie. But I don't have a picture of Mackenzie. So Sarah Ann shows up and her little trifling self. And then Trevor and Chelsea talk, in which Chelsea ends up crying at the end of it for God knows what. But she says that she got dry martini drunk and had an argument with him. And Trevor says, well, okay, so you're admitting fault. And Chelsea's like, yeah, well, no, I think it's debatable whose fault it is. And so at that point, I'm like, oh, girl, you still doubling down the fact that he was wrong, even though he only left for an hour and a half? Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it. She keeps saying that she just delivered it horribly. I'm like, no, you didn't deliver it horribly. The whole thing was you being mad over nothing. And you don't want a guy who even goes out. You just want him to be cuddled and hung up underneath you. That's weird. It's not weird, but it's what she wants. And I don't think that that's what she's going to get in this modern era with somebody who has a full job and friends before her. And so then she walks up and she sees Amy and where's Amy? Amy and Johnny kind of canoodling. And so she says to Chelsea, she says to Jimmy, oh my God, have you met the most strongest couple? And Jimmy gets upset at that. And she's like, babe, I'm so sorry, babe. I didn't mean it. Are you upset, babe? Don't be mad at me, babe. Babe. And he's like eating a hot dog while, trying to be like, well, we're strong too. And she's like, yeah, we are strong, babe. I'm just trying to say that they're stronger. So yeah, Jimmy's hurt by that. This is where Laura and Jeremy end up having this conversation, and she tells him to kick rocks with open toe shoes on, and everyone's so excited. She's like, I politely declined to give you my address. I don't understand why I have to give you my address. You did all these terrible things to me. And he's like, well, you were being rude and nasty to me. And I just don't like it when men call women nasty for like standing in their truth. Oh, she's nasty because she didn't accept your ridiculousness. No, no, no. So she calls him a con artist and says that he came with the best intentions. I don't think you came with the best intention. Like you did you come to here fully prepared with maturity for the process? No. So she tells him, "I'm gonna come and get my stuff." And he says, "Oh, don't worry, I already packed it up." And she's like, "Great, you already packed up my stuff. So what were we having this conversation here for? You just made it seem like you wanted us to try or like do better, but it looks like you made that decision a week ago when you packed up my stuff." So, oh my God. And so then we go over to Sarah Ann and AD. And everyone is also saying that this was like the showdown of the century as well. And I don't know if it was a showdown. I think that AD was just trying to ask some very important questions, but also to get Sarah Ann to see the error of her ways. So AD is like, so let me sit down with you. Yeah, tell me what happened, boo. Because like basically AD's energy is like, yeah, tell me what happened because everyone is calling you a dirty skank, and I don't want to think of you as one. So I want to better understand the situation so I can go tell everyone that you're cool. And so they're in a little alcove, like window nook, and Sarah Ann's okay, okay. Let me tell you, girl. Let me tell you what happened. Let me tell you how I wasn't bad in this. Okay. And then AD's like, well, wait, let me ask the questions first. She says, so did you or did you not reach out to a man that you knew was engaged? And Ann's like, no, like what it is that we had unfinished business from the pod. Okay. When he told me that he didn't want to be with me, I was just stuck. I didn't say anything. I didn't ask him, like, are you sure? I didn't speak up for myself. So I felt like I had some unfinished business to take care of when it came to him. And AD says, okay, well, did Jeremy leave the door open for you? And Sarah Ann says, yes, I think that he did. And AD's like, okay, well, I saw the text. I read it. I read the DM. So it felt like you did that. It felt like you left the door open or you were telling him if things weren't going well. And she's like, well, no. And AD's like, okay, so what you're telling me is that he led you to believe that there was a door open. So when he came back from Dominican Republic, you didn't know he was engaged. You thought that they had broken up. And she's like, well, no, not that either. And she's like, okay, girl, make it make sense. So like either you knew or you didn't know because that DM felt like you were texting somebody who didn't choose you. He didn't choose you, sweetheart. So why would you then send that DM? And she's just trying to double down, and she's like, I don't want to interrogate you. And Sarah Ann's like, I feel like you are interrogating me. And I know all of a sudden 80s like black girl spirit was like, okay, now she's about to turn this around and try to make it seem like I attacked her, and I don't want anything to do with this, which is why I'm staying really calm, because the narrative will be spun that I am interrogating her. Like, baby, I'm not interrogating you. I'm asking you questions to get clarity. And then Sarah Ann's was like, that's none of your business. And she's like, oh, I tried. Bye. And so she gets up and leave, and Sarah Ann is pissed. Sarah Ann marches onto the dock, and Jeremy's right there behind her, like, hey, what's going on? What happened? And Sarah Ann's like, I don't understand why bitches who shouldn't even be worried about me, who should be worrying about their own entire marriage, be worried about me and what I'm doing, because nothing I did was bad. I was just trying to look out for myself. I was being selfish, and all I wanted to do was insert myself into your relationship and let you know that you had A, made a mistake, and B, if you wanted to correct that mistake, I was here to support you. Let me tell you, girl, I just rewatched episode 5, where he said to her in the pods, I don't have a mental connection with you, even though I really like you, but that wasn't there for me. So I have chosen somebody else. And she had an opportunity to say stuff. She did say stuff back to him. But I guess because she didn't specifically say, are you sure? No, no, no. She was pissed. And she was like, "Well, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna venture off." And then she goes back into the women's dormitory to tell Laura, "He chose you." So, girl, you had time. You had time. You were just flabbergasted that somebody would choose Laura over you. And so, anyways, Jimmy's like, or Jeremy, not Jimmy. Jeremy was like, "Do you want to go?" No, he doesn't have an accent. He's like, "Do you want to go ski doing, whatever they're doing, what jet skiing?" And she's like, "Yes." And so these two disrespectful animals, when he just broke up with his intended 5 seconds ago, a week ago, if you're by Laura's time clock. And he gets on jet skis and rides around and has a hee-haw good time with Sarah Ann on the jet skis in front of everybody. That is the crack of the season. That is crazy. Ooh. Why did Jimmy tell Jessica? Why did she was his number one choice and they still were sitting in the Adirondack chairs? Oh, Jocelyn, how are you? I don't think I could deal with a relationship these days. Transparency, but gaslight, narcissistic behavior, blame for this, too old for these. Yeah. No. Crack. Great. AD was talking to Sarah Ann like she was her best Judy. She was. She's like, okay. So, girl, tell me what happened, because everybody's saying that you're a trifling ass hoe, and I want to help you. I want to better understand it. So, tell me from your perspective. Did you or did you know that they were still together before you DM'd? Because if you did know, that's wild, girl. That is wild to send a DM to an engaged man who chose someone else. I was like, that is crazy. Woo! That's crazy. That was the crack of the century. It's like sitting down, like, yeah, let me tell me about it. Laura was my number 2. Jesus Christ. So we find out that Trevor thinks is like, damn, Laura is my number 2, but she's kind of mean. And Chelsea laughs. Chelsea, get out of here. Get on out of her. Please. Get out of here. Oh, okay. Hey, there was 100 people in this room, and now it just like drastically went down to 87. What you guys are doing, I don't know. But if you would like to give this video a thumbs up, or no, maybe there was 90 people. There's 90 people, and there's now 87. So 3 people left. Maybe their names were Chelsea, because I said, Chelsea, get out of here. Not you, Chelsea. Anyways, you guys don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Remember, oh, there's a thumbs up song. Chris made that song up. Let me sing it. Thumbs it up. 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 Oh, the 90-Day Fiance reunion. Oh, girl, I am messing up with people's. No. Okay, let me hurry. Let me get out of here. Come here. Okay, so Laura's upset. She's crying. She's like, he's supposed to protect me. You know, he never really chose me. And so he's just like, I'm not getting any grace or understanding. What am I fighting for? Okay, crybaby. So then we move on to the dress shopping, and there's lots of crying. But first, Chelsea and Jimmy have to show how they still love each other by doing ice sculptures, which I thought would be fun. And then AD and Clay have to show how much they love each other by painting Nikes, which another thing I thought that'd be fun, painting shoes. And then somebody else did, they all did some kind of activity together. So then we go to everyone getting their dress. Now, before, I don't recall them every season doing it where they all have to sit through each other's dress pickings. I feel like what this was, because they couldn't have asked that family member to sit there for 4 hours. So what I feel like what happened is these ladies had already had a bunch of dresses tried on with other people, and then they narrowed it down to like 2 or 1, and then this was the presentation of the dress that they had narrowed down to their families, because before we've seen them try on A, more dresses, and B, we've only seen them in segments with their own family. Like in the beginning, it was everybody was there, but then they changed it for a while where it was just you and your girls and the guys were with their guys. And I don't know, maybe I'm missing up and I just forgot. I don't know, girl. So Amy, Chelsea, and AD are the 3 people trying on dresses. Isn't that crazy? Laura and Brittany are not there. It's crazy. So, Chelsea's dress, it was cute. It just didn't make me go wow. And then AD comes out with a dress on that is up her alley, but it didn't give me the va va voom. But then, girl, her second dress was va va voom. It was like, I mean, Jessica Rabbit would have worn that. It was a Jessica Rabbit dress. I said, okay, leg. Like, yeah, I also wasn't a fan of this too. Then she has she had 2 veils, one that had pearls along the side and one that was simple, but at the very bottom of the veil train, it said, "Till death do us part." I was like, that's corny, but you know, if she's happy, I'm happy. So then we see Amy's dress, and Amy wanted to go for like a fairy princess, fairy tale vibe. And I thought that she got that. Her mother was so choked up that she couldn't speak. But then she did a whole other thing too, where she's like, I remember when you were a kid. And it's like, girl, both of her parents remember her when she was a kid. Great. I'm glad. So then AD and Clay have a date, and he opens the door for her, and in the seat is sitting all a bouquet of her favorite snacks, because there's a Kit Kat bar in there. That's the only one I can see. And she was so excited for that. I haven't gotten enough flowers in my lifetime to not still want flowers. Like, I still want them. I want flowers. Don't give me candies. I already have a panza. I'm already working with too much down here. I can't. Flowers, please. So his inside of his car is nice. He got that cognac inside, the same way that Risa Tisa wanted for her BMW. And I love that interior. It is so luxe to me and beautiful. Like, I just have never owned a car that has that. And I think if I ever own a car again, if I purchase another car after this car I have, I would like a cognac interior. And I would wait for the car to be, upholstered, and then I would want it to say Lino somewhere embroidered, and then I want like cool lighting on the inside. So like, then I mean, I'm not going to buy a car for another 15 years. So whatever car I get at the year 14 no 24 34 34 35 36 37 38 39 ooh 2039. Oof. What does that year look like? The year 2039. So far away from here. I'll be in my 50s. Okay, yeah, that sounds right. I'll be in my 50s. It'll be 2039, and I'm gonna get myself a car with cognac interior. Okay, great. So Johnny and Amy go do like some glamping. Listen, and they made s'mores. I really wanted s'mores. The only thing is that I have an electric stove, not a gas range. So once I'm done with you guys, I'm going to go to the store and get me some graham crackers and some chocolate. And then I am going to, I have marshmallows already. I don't know how I'm gonna burn the marshmallows. I just don't know. I actually have a lighter. I'll just use a lighter. Great. Thank you for helping me work through that. I'll let you know if the fire department needs to be called. So then I wanted that. But then Chelsea and Jimmy, they have a date, and they go to Carowinds, which is, I imagine, the Knott's Berry Farm of the area. And so, she's like, oh my God, I've never been here, but this is so us. And I'm like, but you've never been there. So maybe they talked about roller coasters, because their relationship from Jimmy's perspective has and will be and is a roller coaster. So they have the whole park to themselves. And I'm like, for how long? What, an hour? Like, I'm trying to think of an amusement park in California that they would simply just close down. It would be Knott's Berry Farm. That's the only place that somebody would just be able to buy out on any given day. right? You definitely, I mean, if you did Disneyland, I don't even know what to say. Like, I know people do Disneyland, like corporate events, but they don't buy out the entire park. Now, people have, but I'm like, how much money is that though? Because you still have to pay the people who are coming in. And B, so you'd have to take the amount of, I'm pretty sure Disney doubles it by what they would normally make. 'Cause think about concessions, think about the ticket sales or whatever, and whatever other things that people are buying. So if like Disneyland on any given day makes like $5 million, I'm pretty sure to shut the doors down, they're charging 10 millions. You know what I mean? So uh they have that entire park to themselves, and there's people there like giving them cotton candy and like playing games with them and riding the Fury 325, his favorite roller coaster. Girl, I'm too old for roller coasters, and I'm very sad about it. Let me tell you, I did not know that I was over roller coasters until I went to Knott's Berry Farm like 7 years ago. I got on my favorite ride, the Ghost Rider. Girl, the whole I was like, "Oh," like I and then my neck, I was like, "Oh no." I got off that ride immediately and I turned to my friend and I was like, "I'm too old for this. I'm too old for this." And she started laughing. I was like, "No, no, no. It's funny to you because you don't recall a time when that's your favorite thing was roller coasters. And now you cannot ride them because they're not fun. They're scary and it just is too much. It's too much to my nervous system." Too much. So they have a good time doing that, and then they go sit down and she's like, "Babe, look at this charcuterie board." And they sit down and he's like, "So let me tell you, we've never talked about this. How are you feeling about getting married? Like really? Like where are you at this in your place right now as far as getting to the altar and saying yes to me?" And she's like, well, listen, I check in with myself daily, okay? And I'm gonna tell you that today when I woke up, I felt really, really, really good. But that's all I can tell you. And if I were Jimmy, I would be like, "Oh, I'm definitely saying no. I'm definitely saying no." It leaves on a cliffhanger where it's like she doesn't know what her answer is gonna be. And I'm like, "You have put him through so much, and you are over here being ridiculous about the way this man lives his life. And when he tried to break up with you, you were like, 'Babe, babe.' And now you're telling him that you are about to humiliate him in front of his entire family? Because he ain't even met all your peoples yet. But you about to embarrass him in front of his entire family. Oh, no, no, no. Couldn't be me. Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. So we have a cliffhanger. I think the next episodes drop on Wednesday, sometime this week coming up. So we'll talk about it next week. Thank you guys so much for joining me. 94 people in the room. If you want to give this video a thumbs up, that'd be really appropriate for the situation. If you want to give your girl a tip, if you got the hee hee ha ha's throughout this, that'd be also as well. But yes, 90 Day Fiance HEA is coming. And I don't know if there's going to be a new Love After Lockup, Life After Lockup situation, but I'm sure it's coming in a couple of weeks. If they've moved on to Mama June, then 3 months. And then we've got Seeking Sister Wife. So if you guys are interested in that content, that is what I'll be talking about. 90 Day Fiance HEA and Seeking Sister Wife. That is my favorite. But yeah, you guys have a fantastic day. Thank you for joining me. Remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Bye. Jump in the line, rock your body on time. Okay, I believe you. Jump in the line, rock your body on time.